Hey guys, so this video I'm going to talk a little bit about stocks and stuff. So a lot of people see, finance people tell you, invest in your 401k, invest in your Roth, buy stocks, and if you don't want to buy individual stocks, buy an ETF, and everything, it just sounds crazy and you don't know what it is. So I'm going to break it down to very, very, very simple terms. Obviously, do your research so you can understand more about it. But I'm going to make it as simple as possible. I promise you after this video, you're going to completely understand what the fuck I'm talking about. So if you buy individual stocks, right, that is you buying a stake inside of that company, right? So let's say, I'm going to keep it very simple. Apple, something, Nike, Microsoft, just keep it simple, right? So let's say you want to buy one share of Apple. You buy that single share can either go up, down, or stay flat, right? So when they say, oh, you want to buy an ETF, and they say, oh, an ETF is, you can think of it as one stock with a bunch of different stocks in it, and if something goes down and something goes up, you'll be fine. Let me explain. So let's say you're a collector, right? Let's say an ETF, you're someone that collects things, right? So an ETF would be, you have a pair of sneakers that that will appreciate, you have some Pokemon cards, you have some art, and you have a garage full of classic cars, right? This is me explaining an ETF, right? So let's say, that collection is worth $25,000, right? Because each thing has a different denomination. Let's say the sneakers depreciate. For some reason, the sneakers aren't worth that $1,000 price point. There are sneakers that are worth $1,000, so please, okay? Let's say those sneakers aren't worth $1,000 no more. Now, your bucket, right? Let's say the sneakers went down $250, right? So now it's worth $750, and the Pokemon cards went up $500, right? So that ETF, that bucket that was $25,000 originally, right? Because the sneakers went down, right? But the Pokemon cards worth went up $500, right? So the sneakers went down $250. So now you got the $500 from the Pokemon card that went up, right? That $250 is no longer lost, right? So now your bucket is worth $25,250, right? Because you have other items inside of this basket, it is keeping the price of that ETF up. So an ETF is a bunch of different companies in one. So let's just use SPY, which is the S&P 500 that they keep telling everyone to do. Invest in S&P 500, invest in S&P 500. It's the top 500 companies inside of that basket. So if something goes down, the whole thing is not going to tank. Okay, it's just that one little portion is going to go down, and something else in that basket could be worth more now. So it either goes up in price or it stays the same, right? My phone dropped, so if you see a cut, that's what happened. So that's what an ETF is. An ETF is a basket with a bunch of different items, a bunch of different companies. And if something goes down and something goes up, it's going to keep that ETF flat so you don't lose that much money, or it's going to rise. But if a bunch of the items that's in the basket go down, the ETF will go down. Okay. That's why they say buy the dip. It's okay to buy the dip in ETFs, but you want to stay on top of the company, okay? There's ways that you can stay on top of it. Obviously, you can do like Wall Street Journal, Barron's, and stuff like that. But there's other websites that you can go to, and I'll try to leave them in the comment section down below, so that'll help. 401ks and Roth IRAs and stuff like that. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, so please make sure you do your research. I'm just sharing information that I did my research on and I learned about. So, and I know sometimes when people are like, oh, get into stocks, you don't even know where to start. So I'm just explaining to you what it is so you're not like, oh my God, right? So a Roth IRA specifically, you can put up to, I believe, $6,500 now. It might be $7,000, but I know it was $6,000. So this is post-tax money that you're putting in it. So when you do withdraw from it, you don't have to pay taxes. Again, you can't withdraw from it until you are 59 and a half. But when you do take out from it, you don't got to pay taxes on that one. Okay? Whatever money you put in, is the money you get out with it. And again, when you put the money in the Roth IRA, you have to buy stuff inside of it. So if you put $6,000 a year and don't invest it in something, it's just $6,000 a year sitting in there. It's not gaining interest. It's not losing. Well, it will lose because of inflation, but it's not gaining anything. So you got to make sure you invest in something. That's why they say ETFs and stuff like that, so you can keep it simple, right? Now, a 401k, to my understanding, that is an investment fund. That is your money and whatever your company will match. And then when it's time to take it out, you have to pay taxes on it, okay? Because you're putting pre-tax dollars investing in that. So when you take it out, you got to get taxed on it, okay? There's that, okay? Some people are able to manage their own 401k, and sometimes the company invests it for you. There's that. Some people want to like start an investment account for their child. There's things you can do that. You absolutely can. You can even start up a Roth for your child. And when they are 18 and they're going to college, they can do a special withdrawal to purchase a house or to go to school. Now, do I know all the exact steps for that? No, but I know that it can be done. You can only do it once after 5 years of having the Roth. And then you can do it maybe once or twice. But I know for sure it has to be a special purchase, which is either a house or going to school. But you can do more research on that. That's perfectly fine. I recommend, I don't have a 401k with my job. And everyone's like, that's crazy. That's free money. Leaving on the table. Right now, I'm choosing not to. But next year, I am going to start investing in my 401k with my company. And I do have a Roth account though. So even though I wasn't getting the free, what is it? I think like 4% that my company would match, I am putting my own money into my own Roth for me to track. I know what's in it. And I like to do the dividend kings or the dividend aristocrats. And these are companies that have been paying dividends for, I believe it's 25 plus years or 50 plus years. I think the aristocrat is 50 plus years, and then the dividend kings is 25 plus years, or whatever the case. So I do invest in dividends, and I invest in growth stocks. Like those are my choices. And I know you're like, oh, what's a dividend stock? So this is a type of stock or ETF that pays you for holding that stock. Like Apple is one of them. I do have Apple. I think Google does too, but it's very small. I have Coca-Cola. You know, everyone's gonna need a drink. They sell drink products, water to soda to juice to whatever the fuck they created. So why not? And they've been paying dividends since this is the dawn of time. So but I like to invest and I like to roll over my dividends. So in this case, whenever I get a dividend, it just buys more of the stock. And the more stock that you get, the more dividends that you'll get. And at some point, I will get to a point where I am buying an entire share with just the dividends. Right now, I think with Coca-Cola, I'm getting like 10% every time I get a dividend. And it's going right into it. And I have a Roth where I have the chart. I started maybe during the lockdowns or the year right after, and I've been putting a small amount in it. I don't put the full $6,000 because I don't got $6,000 a year to just put in that. But one day I will, so we will get there. But yeah, that is my recommendation, and I have it set up auto. So I've had my Roth thing set up for auto deposit every month, so it comes out of my monthly income instead of my bi-weekly. I mean, it's the same shit, but you know what I mean. It doesn't go into the account every 2 weeks. It goes into the account once a month. So I have that set up, and I have an automatic savings. So make sure y'all do that setup. I promise you it will make stuff so much easier. I hope this video made sense of me explaining what an ETF is, and that you'll feel comfortable, starting to do your investment accounts. I use the Chase one, but I also do have a Charles Schwab account, only because they merged with TD. Well, they acquired TD. And so my TD account had TD Ameritrade account got moved over to Schwab. So I have Chase and Schwab, and I do use Robinhood, but that's only if I decide to do like if I decide to trade option calls, to trade options, puts and calls. But I don't do that often anymore. I only do that if I'm like really on top of the news and I know that SPY is gonna drop or QQQ is gonna drop. Like, those are the only two that I really trade. I don't try to do Nvidia. You can ride that shit up and down, but yeah. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, leave in the comment section down below. Maybe I can make another video explaining even more if you want, or if you like to have little pop-ups on the screen and stuff. But yeah, thank you for coming. Peace.